Welcome to the Explainer, everyone. If you are gearing up for the Microsoft SC-500, let's be real. You already know you're facing a total beast of a test. This certification is Microsoft's next-generation security path. It blends highly complex cloud infrastructure with some seriously cutting-edge AI-driven workloads. It's tough, it's vast, and honestly, pure memorization simply won't cut it. You need real, practical understanding. So today, we're going to pressure test your knowledge and give you the exact framework you need to pass.
Okay, let's dive into this. How do you secure an autonomous AI agent that's accessing sensitive enterprise data while actively applying access governance? If your very first instinct is to treat it like a traditional service account, or maybe just hand it a storage key, you're already walking right into a trap. This is the exact type of modern, high-stakes scenario you're going to have to navigate to earn this certification.
To conquer scenarios exactly like that one, we're relying on a pretty incredible resource today, the Get It Done Certified SC-500 Practice Exam Questions book. I've got to introduce you to cloudcertificationstore.com. They are literally the ultimate destination for cloud cert materials. And the reason why is simple. They don't do basic trivia. They provide enterprise-grade exam-style questions. Not simple quizzes, but deep, scenario-based challenges that actually train you to make real-world architectural trade-offs.
And hey, it's not just for Azure either. cloudcertificationstore.com is built for serious cloud professionals. They offer this massive library of affordable practice materials and completely free guides spanning Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, and even NVIDIA. If you want to pass on the first attempt and do it with total confidence, this is your toolkit.
Right, let's move into a rapid-fire interactive workshop. Think of me as your mentor here. Scenario 1. A company uses Microsoft Entra ID for all its administrative access. Your security admins currently have permanent owner permissions. How do you reduce that standing privilege, but still allow them to elevate their access during approved maintenance windows? Think about your options for a second. Custom roles? Forcing MFA?
Boom! The correct answer is A. You need to configure Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management, or a PIM, for eligible role assignments. If you nailed that one, excellent job.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly why those other plausible-sounding options completely fail in the real world. A custom role that just removes delete actions? Well, that still leaves standing privilege 24/7. Just enabling MFA? Great for sign-in security for sure, but the user still has permanent owner access afterward. Entra PIM wins because it makes access eligible, not permanently active. It forces approval workflows, time-bound access, and leaves a crystal-clear audit trail.
Let's keep that momentum going. Scenario 2. A dev team needs an Azure function to retrieve secrets from Azure Key Vault, but company policies strictly prohibit storing passwords, client secrets, or connection strings in application settings or source code. How do you architect this using Microsoft-recommended workload identity practices?
The solution here is B. Enable a managed identity for the Azure function and grant it least privilege Key Vault access. Make no mistake, this is the absolute gold standard for workload identity in Microsoft environments.
And this brilliantly illustrates the kind of architectural trade-off you absolutely must understand for the exam. On one hand, a managed identity requires 0 stored credentials. It's entirely auto-managed by Entra ID, tying the identity directly to the resource itself. On the flip side, something like a shared access signature or SAS token is a long-lived bearer token. If you store that in a config file and it leaks, anyone can use it until it expires. Managed identities completely eliminate that exposure risk.
All right, let's jump to cloud networking, which is always a highly testable topic. Scenario 3. Your security team has an Azure storage account full of sensitive files. They must ensure it's reachable only through a private IP address from selected virtual networks. Public internet access has to be totally disabled. So what is the precise configuration here?
The answer is C. You must create a private endpoint for the storage account and explicitly disable public network access. You can't just do one. Both are critical. It's incredibly easy to get tripped up here between a private endpoint and a service endpoint. A service endpoint restricts access to a VNet, sure, but the traffic still routes to a public service endpoint address. A private endpoint, though, using Azure Private Link, physically drops a private IP address directly into your virtual network. It's literally the only way to satisfy the strict requirement of reaching that storage account only through a private IP.
Let's pivot our strategy to multi-cloud for a minute. Scenario 4. Security leadership demands a unified view of misconfigurations, attack paths, and cloud security posture.
And they don't just want it for Azure. They need it across Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud too. What tool handles this massive job?
The correct answer is D, Defender Cloud Security Posture Management, or Defender CSPM.
A lot of exam takers jump straight to Microsoft Sentinel here, but you've got to know the difference. Sentinel is your CM. It's phenomenal for collecting logs, correlating security data, and handling reactive incident response. But Defender CSPM, that's built specifically for proactive posture management. It gives you multi-cloud visibility, finds exposed secrets, and maps out attack paths way before an adversary can even exploit them. It's all about prevention versus detection.
Okay, let's hit the cutting-edge domain that really sets the SC-500 apart. Scenario 5. Your company uses agentic AI workloads. How do you manage and govern these AI agent identities separately from your traditional human users while applying dedicated access policies and monitoring?
The solution is C, Microsoft Entra Agent ID. This is Microsoft's truly modern, purpose-built approach to securing autonomous AI workloads.
So the crucial point is this: treating an AI agent like some basic unmanaged script or tossing it a shared storage account key, that's a massive security vulnerability. Entra Agent ID allows you to govern these agents distinctly. You get clear accountability, centralized logging, and you can seamlessly integrate them with conditional access policies and Defender XDR to just block risky behaviors right at runtime.
The Exam Readiness Scorecard. Let's see where you stand.
Now that we've run through some of these complex scenarios, it's time to get objective. We're shifting out of workshop mode and into the active self-assessment phase, using the Exam Readiness Scorecard, which is pulled straight from the back of the Cloud Certification Store book. You know, most candidates fail not because they don't know their stuff, but because they completely misjudge their readiness. Use this exact scorecard. Rate yourself from 1 to 5 stars across these 5 domains. Be brutally honest with yourself. Identity and access, cloud infrastructure, AI security, threat protection, DevSecOps. If you're sitting at anything less than 4 stars in any of these categories, that's a critical knowledge gap. You have to review it before booking your test.
To give you some massive, immediate value to take away right now, here are the recommended final focus areas that usually serve as the major differentiators between the candidates who pass and those who fail. You absolutely must understand zero trust principles applied directly to AI systems. You need to know how to defend against prompt injection, you've got to understand how to secure RAG or retrieval augmented generation architecture, and you must know how Defender XDR correlates alerts across all these different services. Let's move to and see how this builds up to the ultimate goal, earning the Microsoft Certified Cloud and AI Security Engineer Associate Badge. It proves you don't just know basic cloud security, but you actually know how to protect the next generation of AI-driven intelligent applications.
So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you just relying on memorization, kind of hoping to scrape by, or are you truly prepared to make the real-world architectural trade-offs this exam is going to demand? Seriously, don't leave it to chance. Head over to cloudcertificationstore.com, grab these exam-style questions, and build your genuine, undeniable expertise. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you in the next one.